Well, hello, my soul friends. It's Victoria. I wasn't sure if there was going to be a picture on this live video because I often test the lighting on my videos by going into my Zoom group or Zoom meeting, and I could not get my camera on. So I thought my camera wasn't working. Anyway, after futzing around with it for a bit, I asked my husband to look at it, and it turns out you can't be in Zoom and YouTube live at the same time. Note to self. Anyway, welcome to the Soul Nurture channel. I don't know that anyone's going to join me because another faux pas today was putting 10:15 as the start time when it was always going to be 12 p.m. So I wanted to go live today, whether or not people are going to be able to join me today or not. I know it's Saturday and there's a lot of hustling and bustling beginning already for this season. So what I wanted to do, well, first of all, if you got to do the commercial at the top, welcome, first of all, again, to my channel, the Soul Nurturer channel. The intention I have here is to hold space for those in need of some soul care, some reclaiming of your soul potential, nurturing that soul potential. It's a transformational journey in itself because I think we come in with our full potential as souls, adapt into the human experience, kind of put the lid on our potential, lose our way a bit because our first primary function that we need to meet is to be safe in the world. And we do that by adapting. We do that with conditioning. We do this by tuning in, or there's another word that's trying to come. Adapting, I guess, is the key with our family of origin. What their beliefs are, what their patterns are, what their rituals for the holidays are, which is my topic today. I wanted to do a video on soul care, self care, finding the balance during the hustle and bustle of the busy holiday season. It's super important because you probably are already noticing. And if you are, comment below. And yes, I forgot to say subscribe and like if you're called. Subscribe to this channel. I am doing a video every week right now, but I do have big plans for the new year. I'm reconfiguring. Intention is still the same, to support and encourage others and lift others up on their transformational journey and reclaiming of soul potential and soul possibilities. But just sort of, I started this channel in 2020 before the pandemic, and I have been fumbling about trying to figure out how to go live and how to do all these things. And so I'm gonna, step it up a little bit for all of you and for me, because I really do love coming here and having a platform to share what I've gathered over my 22 years as a transformational guide, a soul guide, a hypnotherapist, an NLP practitioner, a grief counselor, all kinds of goodies in my bag to support you. And so I'm cooking up some a new patterning, and this is what transformation is all about. Checking how we're doing the things we're doing, and my focus today is going to be in the holidays. But repatterning, setting up new patterns, practicing them into a new way of being. Okay. So what I thought I'd do is to start off with, I still want to turn off my other light because it's so bright. Anyway, that's when you're live, you just go with what is. Okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and just start with a little meditation. For those of you who are watching the replay, the goal of this drop in, I call it inner reflection, is to just be present to yourself. And this is the key during the holiday season. Before we lose ourselves in picking out presents for everyone else and overdoing, overwhelming, the key is to be present to yourself. So let's drop in for a moment. For those of you who are watching the replay, and I thank you for doing so. And it's so funny, I thought, is anyone going to show up today? I bet you they're out running around already doing Christmas shopping, and whether you celebrate Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or the solstice or not at all, you don't celebrate any holiday, you're probably going to feel sort of this energetic switch going on where it feels like more, just busyness, busy, 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 because there seems like there's more to do, right? There's more hustle bustle, more social engagements. So here I'm inviting you to just drop in with me for a moment. So this we can connect to our baseline, dropping inward and letting this be our touchstone. I'm pointing to my heart with my little meditation bowl gong. Let your heart be your touchstone. Let your heart be your home that you center into to move through the busy time. So let's just drop in for a moment and maybe someone will join me as we do. Close your eyes if you can, if you're not driving and you have a moment to do so. Just go ahead and close your eyes, turn away from the external world and drop inward. Breathing into this moment, breathing into your body, your beloved companion for this journey. And noticing when you're listening to this, whatever time you're listening to it, just checking in with yourself, your body, your soul, your heart, your energy. Just really noticing in this present moment. I'm going to say that word over and over again, present moment. We give ourselves the gift of presence when we take time in the present moment to connect inward. So just breathing in and noticing your energy, noticing how you feel in this moment. Notice what's going on in your mind. Is your to-do list running through, pulling on you? So just notice, and I really was hoping to just kind of get a baseline of your everyday inner world. And also, it's always good to check in. What do you need in this moment? And this, my friends, you can do for 2 minutes, a minute, a couple seconds. This quick putting hand over heart, maybe hand over belly, connecting to body and soul wisdom. And what do you need in this moment to be present to yourself? Or what do you need to kind of shore yourself up, to lift your energy, to reset, restart? Now, in this space, I want you just to stay connected inward and just feel cozy on the inside. And just notice now, as I turn up the heat of the holiday hustle, now, I want you to just feel into your body and notice what happens as I mention these things. We're almost in the month of December. We just moved through the day of giving thanks, which starts the busy holiday. And for some who start their shopping the day after, for me it's chaotic, but for you maybe it's fun. Black Friday, that truly a marketing ploy to stir the pot for the season, but for some it's fun to find the sales and the deals and start your Christmas shopping. I know some of you out there started your Christmas shopping last year. You are the types that are just ahead of the game. Maybe your stress doesn't get as intense during the holidays, or maybe it does for other reasons. So just checking in this moment, I wanted you to have that baseline of maybe just feeling that calm energy, connecting inward. And now as we turn up the heat of the holiday hustle, think of your to-do list now. What are the things you need to do for your holiday celebration, whatever that is? Notice what's happening in your body. You still feeling calm? Still feeling grounded? Just noticing right now. We'll do another meditation at the end. How many gifts do you need to get? Is that something you do? Do you know what you're getting people? Do you like gift shopping? Is it fun or is it a task? Feel your body. Feel what's going on the inner. Are you still feeling calm and joyful? Are you feeling a little bit of the busyness moving in your body? What about holiday meals? Do you do the shopping for those? Do you do the cooking? Do you have a lot of people over? What's happening in your body right now as you're noticing this? What about holiday cards? You send them out? Is that fun for you? Is it a big task? Is it an obligation? Does it feel weighted? What's going on in your body right now? What about spending time with family? How's that feel? I know we love our families, but sometimes we think about spending time with families. We know there's going to be a trigger or two. So just noticing, and really this first step here is just noticing as we're starting to turn up the heat. And I'm opening my eyes now and coming back. I just wanted to have a starting point, a check-in place. So this is what happens unconsciously without our awareness. It's like the frog in the pot story that I often share. It's kind of a gruesome story, but it's a good awareness story. If you put a frog in a pot in room temperature water, or no, I'm sorry, it goes like this. If you throw a pot into boiling water, it'll jump right out. But if you put it in room temperature water and slowly turn up the heat, it'll sit there until the pot is boiling. And that, my dear soul friends, is what stress is like, especially around the holidays, because it's unconscious patterning we go into when we're navigating the holidays. Now, remember too, when we have a lot of external stimulus, like, all the things going on around your holiday, some of the things I talked about when we dropped in to connect to our soul and body, that's external stimulation can take us out of that little bit of consciousness that we occupy, that we go into. Research says that we're only actively using 5% of our conscious awareness. Mostly we're being driven by the 95% subconscious or unconscious material that we're programmed with. So since no one's with me, I do have a little list of things to go over that I wanted to talk about. In terms of, again, the balancing of our soul care, our self-care during the holiday season. Years ago, and I haven't taught this workshop for a while, I used to do an in-person live workshop for caregivers mostly. And one thing I would do, a process that was so stunning to my participants, it illuminated so much, it brought so much awareness of the need to fill our own wells. The cliche that we often talk about, those of us practitioners who talk about soul care and self-care, you put your oxygen mask on first. Well, the first workshop I taught like this was for mothers of children and adults with cognitive differences. That's how I like to say it. Special needs, cognitive differences. And these are mostly, they were mothers, and this was my first workshop that I was doing on self-care and soul care. And my heart was really invested in this because I worked as a life skills teacher at the time. And I worked with the parents a lot, and I knew what, this type of mothering is 24/7, no stop, no end, right? Unless they got some support from other caregivers. But anyway, so what I did is I had everyone at their little space, their little workshop station. I put an empty cup, a glass in front of everyone. And then I had stations set up around the room. And I love to do this for workshops because it's such a visual and an experiential, like you get it, you feel it. And so think about this as I tell you what I do in my workshops. What I invited them to do is to just be aware of what their natural and normal and regular energy was when they woke up in the morning, just kind of an average. And so maybe you could think about that. Hello. Aw. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you needed the presence of another. I'm here with you. Thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate it. So what I have them do is an empty cup or glass, kind of a big glass, I'd put out, and a pitcher of water on their tables too. So I'd assess your natural and normal waking energy level. Some of us wake up with the half is already empty, the cup is already half empty. Like we're already, for those of us who deal with, say, chronic pain or fatigue or other things going on, aging is one of them. Um, so it's not a full cup. Some people wake up with a lot of energy and vitality. There's a full cup. So they'd pour the water in the glass, and then I'd have them go to the stations. And in different stations, I'd have like things that you would empty your cup for. You would need to pour energy out to, taking care of children, cleaning the house, taking care of the bills, working. And I would have them just imagine how much energy that is, pour it out. And I'd have a bowl, pour it out. And then I'd have fill up stations for the self care, the soul care. Meditated, pour some water in your glass. Exercise, pour some water in your glass. And so then we'd come back after everyone kind of went around the room, emptying, pouring in. And I'll tell you what, every time I've done this process, the cups are pretty much empty. Again, especially for caregivers who always feel pulled to support and care for others, our cups get empty pretty quickly. So that's the whole idea here. Let me know how you're doing. You need a presence with another right now. Just you missed the beginning, and I invite you to watch the video over again, because at the beginning I did a little drop in to connect with ourselves, how we're doing in this moment. I'm going to do another meditation before I wrap up, just to fill up with what we need in order to support ourselves during the hustle and bustle of the holiday season. So I'll be right back with you, but my one viewer watching with me, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm going to go to my list though, because I had a quick download this morning. I got to turn my heat off though. I am heating up here. Okay. So first of all, I wanted to ask, do you create to-do lists for the holiday season? Some people do to-do lists every day, and that's awesome. But do you do a to-do list for your holiday season? That in itself can be daunting. It can be great because you're containing all the things you need to do. But my question for all of you, and again, for those of you watching at the replay, is do you watch? Do you put yourself on your own to-do list? This is something I learned when I was working at hospice. It was essential. I'm like taking off my socks now because it's so hot in my house. We got a new stove for our house that is so wonderful. It's heating up. Feels like, feels so good in here. Normally our house is a little cold. Anyway, putting yourself on your own to-do list, and even a step beyond that, putting yourself on your own schedule. And this is what I would do when I worked at hospice. Whenever, my schedule would fill up so quickly that I always scheduled in my time of exercise. And so when people, instead of, back then I couldn't say, no, it's my self-care time. Sorry, now I can. Because I know how to set boundaries. I know how important it is to fill my cup up now. So you put yourself in your schedule, and so when someone would ask me, "Oh, are you available from 1 to 2?" and I say, "No, I've got something scheduled at that time," and they go, "Okay, no questions asked. Something scheduled at that time is my self-care, and there's no way around it. It's needed." I just wanted to check in with my person on chat here because I do appreciate you being here. Yeah. Holidays can be difficult for a lot of people for various reasons. Something I'm going to touch on. And, but I love that you said that I know the days are coming and I'm just going to allow myself to be what and where I'm at. Excellent. Definitely one of the things I wanted to cover, accepting. Now, the meditation at the beginning was to help us see what our capacity is. And that is the key to stay connected to what capacity we have to do the holidays the way we want to. So one of the things on my list too is part of transformation is to check in with what you've been conditioned to believe or do. And the holiday season has all kinds of conditioning. We always do the holidays this way. We take on a certain role. We feel, for me, I love birthdays and I love gifts just because the feeling of obligation for gift buying, I don't like that. I don't know anybody else out there. I don't. And besides, whatever your faith is and whatever you believe, it's not connected to anything other than, to me, a commercial thing. So I encourage you, like my watcher now, yes, allow yourself to be what and where you're at and do what you can do. Now, I know this begins to tip us in that, oh gosh, that feels selfish. That feels like, I couldn't do that. What will people think? I'm telling you, if you don't take care of yourself and take care of your soul, you're going to have less time to do and care for other people. You've got to take care of yourself. I'm going to go back to my list, but thank you for interacting with me. I appreciate it. Maybe more people will jump into. So putting yourself on your to-do list is key. And now, one other thing that I have done just in general, I have found that even if I put my routine or what I need to do on my to-do list, I won't do it sometimes if my day gets busy. So put yourself at the top of your list the first thing in the morning. Make sure you do at least one, maybe two things every day. And this is just in general, not just for the holidays, but very important for the holidays. So for me, bike riding, even though it's harder now that the weather's changing, but I like to get my bike ride in before I start my workday. Because if I don't, and I try to tack it on at the end of the day, I'm tired and I may not do it. But when I did it at the beginning of the day, when we put our self-care item at the beginning of the day, working out, whatever you do that brings you joy, that moves your body, or your spiritual practice. For me, I have both. I do both. Do meditation, do some dream work in the morning. I've been slacking on my journaling. I will admit, I need to take my own advice there, that I tell my clients journaling can be as simple as checking in with, how are you doing today? And then writing that down so that you're really connecting with your soul and self. But doing it first, and you get more energy. You feel you have reinforced that you're worthy of your own love and care. That's powerful. So number one recommendation. And then, as we did at the beginning, every day check in with your energy and your capacity. And this is important to do before you say yes to plans. I know that sounds counterintuitive, especially, again, for those of you who already are dealing with low levels of energy. You must check your capacity before you agree to the party, to the dinner, to the whatever. And even when you're considering whatever you do to celebrate, ask yourself, can I do this differently? Can I do it in a way that is more aligned with my soul, my authentic self, and how I authentically want to express myself and connect to the holiday season in a way that you bring a little sparkle of your own, right? This is what our authentic self does. So you have permission, if you don't know this, to do the holidays a new way. I used to teach a workshop for when I was a grief counselor, for doing the holidays, like navigating the holiday season, especially for those who are grieving. It's really, really difficult. So I would just say, you don't have to do it any way you did before. You do it the way that you can do this year. You get that choice. So yes, it is so commercial, the holiday season. So this is, again, part of transformation. And especially during this time where we're really being asked to move out of doing it the old way and doing it a new way. Everything's up for review, even the holidays. Now, some of you love your holidays and you get the jammies and you have a certain, your traditions, and traditions are great. What I'm inviting you to, though, is to review how you do your traditions. Can you do it in a new way that is joyful and not draining? A lot of people get sick after the holidays. Why? Because they have overtaxed their bodies and being, they're stressed. And when we're stressed, our immune system is compromised. So another reason to be mindful before we start turning up the heat at the holiday seasons. Okay. Next, I already said this, do something every day that fills your cup. And really, before you started in the day is important. And I would say not just your daily practice, but things that bring you joy, and also a daily ritual. Like, one of my daily rituals that I must do during the holidays is I take out, I have them right here. I take out my essential oils. lavender oil, essential oil is essential. Here's why. For me, I use this before workshops or when I'm stepping into something as a ambivert, sometimes introvert, where I don't like to be around a lot of overstimulation or crowds because I'm so sensitive. I feel it all. So I put a little lavender oil in the morning. I do this as a little ritual. I say a prayer, and it smells so good. And I just dab a little bit, and I just kind of, I think it's the old Catholic in me. I do a little, almost like that, but mostly just here, my third eye, my heart, and on my throat. And I say something, an affirmation like, may I be grounded in faith, and may I be held and love and gratitude and be guided and protected in all interactions on this day. Something like that. It's not always that. It's a prayer, but the point of it is it's a ritual that I'm taking care of myself before I even step out into the day. So that's another good one. I'm just checking to see if anybody else is with me here. Awesome. Okay, good. I hope when you're watching this later that you do, I strike a chord with you and offer you some helpful tip. That's my goal here. So, okay, so here's some other things to consider. And on the rituals, whether you meditate in the morning, pray in the morning, or what I just did with the oils, keep your rituals, even if you need to shorten them. Say you meditate every day some people meditate for an hour. I have not achieved that goal after 25 years of meditating. It's more like 10, sometimes 5. So again, take care of you with what is possible for you, what your capacity is. We have to let go of the external, what's everybody else doing? And definitely let go of expectations. So you want to shorten your rituals, but keep them. Just, even if it's a minute. And I know for busy moms, I always say this and they say I have no time anyway. Well, when you go to the bathroom, moms say, yeah, but you don't understand. Kids follow me into the bathroom. Shut the door for 1 minute and say, I have to go to the bathroom, and close your eyes in the bathroom. Put your hand over your heart, connect in, say something affirmative like, I've got this and God has got me. All is well. I can be present in this moment and enjoy this moment, right? So shorten it, but keep them. Okay, setting limits again is virtue. Check your capacity. What's my energy like? Feel into the event, feel into the request. Always pause before you choose. That sounds exciting. Your mind thinks, or your inner child thinks, wow, that sounds like so much fun. Trust me, I have learned the hard way that I have to watch before I say yes, because then I feel bad disappointing, saying I really can't do it. And most people that know me know that I have to be pretty flexible with scheduling things. And I'm grateful for that. I had to teach them that. So set limits, set boundaries. Again, boundaries aren't to keep things away from you. It's to keep your good energy, right? So sometimes we set boundaries with people or events or how you spend your holidays, and that's okay. This tip for you is an ongoing tip that I offer all the time, but especially during the holidays. Repeat after me. Pace with grace. Pace with grace. What does that mean to you? It means a multitude of things to me. Pace with grace. When you hear me say that, pace with grace. Yes. So pacing with grace for me is to recognize that I am a soul having a human experience. In our human experience, we can go unconscious. We can go into that automatic machine patterning. What's everybody else doing? And we're disconnecting from our own needs and disconnecting from our bodies even. So pace with grace is to connect again. If you're a person of faith, you say a prayer, you connect, you put for me, the oxygen mask on is connecting to the divine, a prayer, a meditation to recognize I'm being held by something greater than myself. And in that space of grace, I can pace, not because I need to do so many things. That's the next thing I want to get into during the season. If we have any issues or questions, unconscious beliefs about not being enough, we tend to overdo in order to prove we're enough. And that never works, my friends. Never, never works. We end up burning out. We end up feeling resentful. It does not work. Okay. So, pace with grace. Tell me what pace with grace, when you hear that, what that means for you. Okay. And I already covered this. You can do it your own way. I think we're still, when we're younger and Christmas is a certain way, again, there's traditions and rituals, and we tend to keep doing the same thing over and over again because we never check in to say, does this work for me? And does it have any meaning for me? And why am I doing this anyway? I'll pop in a quick little story here that I tell often in my workshops, and you've probably heard it because it's an old one, but it's the story of, let's say it's for holidays, because we'll make it a holiday story. Although, yeah. So holiday, and sorry, my vegan friends, but holiday tradition for this particular family is they make a roast beef every Christmas. And the husband is watching the wife do this one year, and she slices like an inch off of each side of the roast, puts it in the pan, and he's like, "Why do you do that?" And she's like, "Oh, it's tradition. This is how we make the roast beef." And he's like, "But why?" And she's like, "I don't know. My mom did it this way. My grandmother did it this way. I think it's because it makes it more moist. And it's tradition. We always do it this way, right?" So the next Christmas, grandmother comes and great grandmother. Let's just bring them all and make the story shorter. So the husband's still really curious, and he asks, "What is the deal with cutting the edges off the roast beef to put it in the pan?" And the mother of the daughter says, "Well, it's tradition. We always do it that way. I learned it from my mom." And great grandmother says, "Well, I did it because my pan was so short and I had to fit the roast beef in it. I don't know why you all are doing it." So I love the story because it's, again, a reminder. It's important to check in why you do what you do. Is it tradition? Is it conditioning? And does it work? And is it necessary? So there's that. Okay, let me continue. All right. So I was going to do a demonstration, but I'm running out of time a little bit. So this is really, really important. Allow space for your grief. Holidays can be so, so hard on people who have recently gone through a loss, or no matter how many years it's been. Our holidays are so woven with the people we love that when our loved one is no longer with us at the table for any part of the holidays, it's really heartbreaking. It's an emptiness that you can't fill with anything else but just be willing to be present to it, to be present to your heartbreak, to let your tears flow. Remember, tears are healing. And to acknowledge your grief. You know, in my last video, or no, it was an Instagram post, I suggested put a box of tissue on your dinner table. I know that sounds crazy, but what it's saying to everyone sitting at that table is your grief is welcomed here. You don't need to mask your feelings or stuff them down. The only thing that should be stuffed on a holiday dinner table is the turkey. Sorry, again, my vegans, but it's a joke, but it's true. You don't want to stuff your feelings down. You don't want to drink over it, eat over it, or say, "Oh, I can't talk about it because I don't want to upset anyone else while you're feeling so terrible." Normalize grief. This is my mission. Normalize. It's okay to say, "I'm grateful to be with all of you today. I'm grateful it's Christmas or Hanukkah, but I have to be honest that my heart is aching a bit today." And pass the tissues, please. You know, forget pass the gravy, pass the tissues. I often say this as we teach people how to be with us with our grief, we give them permission to teach others how to be with them during their grief. But this old programming of tough it up, don't cry, move on, move forward. No, that's not healing. So just wanted to say that. Maybe I will do this demonstration. It looks like I have a little bit of time, so maybe I will do this. Thank you for being with me. Is it the Virgoan one? I love it. And if you are a Virgo, and anyone who has Virgo in your chart, or the earth signs like Capricorn, Taurus tend to be the ones that have the it has to be a certain way, but Virgos in general have the can be stuck in the perfectionism, like it has to be, or idealistic, it has to be a certain way. And wherever you have Virgo in your chart, can be magnified there, where it can feel like never enough, never good enough. So be gentle with yourself, my Virgo friend, during the holiday season. But again, I love what you said. Do it your way. However you're going to do it is perfect. Okay, I'm going to try to demonstrate this really quick because I'm here. I used to do this in a workshop as well. And let's see if it'll work out. I just pulled a couple of items. What I wanted to demonstrate, again, demonstrations are much more like we get it, like, because it symbolizes in a way that gets past the conscious mind and into our awareness and updates our unconscious programming. So think about what you do on your daily life right now before the holidays, all the things that you already juggle. So say you got your to-do list of everyday stuff, and then you've got your work. Here's some whiteout for your work. You got to do your work. And then I don't know what this represents. This is a lighter. So, and you keep the fire going in your body, in your life, and you take care of all the day-to-day tasks you've got to do. And maybe, there's some work around the house you got to do. So we're getting kind of, full here. And then, oh yeah, you want to do some self-care. And so, let's just put that on top. And what's just going to happen? Okay. Everything falls apart and there's no self-care. Like we're now out of balance and we certainly don't get our self-care taken care of. I pulled my keys for self-care because self-care, soul care is key to balance, right? So let's try it again. I'm going to put my first priority is self-care in my hand, in the palm of my hand. I'll put some other things here. I'm going to put some of the things that already fell. Let's say as work and making dinner for all those people and the friends that we are going to invite over and the party we're going to. And, pretty soon it starts to get a little imbalanced and maybe some things fall. But guess what doesn't fall? Your self-care, your soul care. Key to balance during the holidays. Okay. All right. Hopefully that demonstration gets the point across. If you're not practicing your soul care, your self-care, doing your spiritual practice, doing your physical movement, setting intention. Remember, I always say, if you don't set intention, you'll be in tension. Connecting on the inner, which we're going to do again in just a moment, just to really I want this video to be something you can come to, maybe check in at the beginning and then drop in at the end. You can fast forward to wherever this is going to be in the video. We're at 37 minutes to do a replenishing, centering, inner refill. Okay. Wow. 5 planets in Virgo. Yes. Okay. Then that's something I would imagine you have to be mindful of is, and here's a tip for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to get done. And there's no perfection. There's only progress. Okay. All right. So did you have any questions regarding anything I talked about before I move into meditation, since I have one watcher? The whole goal of these, I'm going to do more of these in the new year, some in December as well, is to just have interaction. I do better with interaction. I do better live in a group, and I don't do many live workshops or on my Zoom workshops, and definitely with my clients via Zoom these days. It's the interaction that opens up my wisdom well, and then I have more to offer. Talking to my computer doesn't always do that. So anyway, thank you for being with me, the Virgoan one. And hopefully those of you watching the replay will get something from this. Maybe you have some tips of your own. How do you thrive through the holidays? How do you balance your soul care, self-care when the hustle of the holiday season heats up? Let me know. So let's go ahead and drop in one more time. This time we're going to do filling up our well, filling up. Okay. So go ahead if you can right now with me. Close your eyes and turn within. Knowing that in each and every moment we can center, we can turn within, disconnect from the external world, and drop into our inner worlds to connect, to assess what we need. Quoting that familiar, often quoted message of as within, so without. As our inner worlds are tended to, our heart is tended to, permission is granted for our soul wisdom to expand, to shed some of the conditioned ways, the programmed ways, the ways of obligation, the ways we've always done it without questioning what's the purpose here and who and what is this serving. So breathing in to your body, always vital to ground, to take your breath inward into your heart, activating more compassion, more acceptance, more self-love, and for the holidays, more joy. You know, it's our inner child that can really bring the joy. We don't want to overtask our inner child. We want to give space for play and joy. Just breathing into your heart. Thinking about the holiday season coming before us all, unfolding, and perhaps your own to-do list. Now that you've added yourself a little bit more balance. But thinking about what do you need to manage all that's ahead of you, to navigate the holiday season with joy, acceptance, self-love, self-care, and soul care. Just breathing in. What do you need? For those of you who have a busy schedule ahead of you, perhaps you just need more patience. Breathe that into your body. Imagine an image forming for patience or color. And breathe that in and place that image or the feeling or the color in your heart. Perhaps you need some calm energy to feel calm and centered. Allow an image to form that represents calm and centered. A lot of times the image of a still lake represents calmness, or maybe a quiet, snowy day. Whatever it is for you, imagine that energy, the image or color connected to calm, centered energy, and bring that into your heart space. What else do you need to navigate the holidays before you in a way that you feel connected to your soul, present to yourself? The first gift you want to give this season is being present to yourself. The more present you are to yourself, the more you can select your gifts and presents for others from a really heart, soul-centered place. And perhaps the greatest gift you'll give others is being so present to them. No longer distracted or stressed or overwhelmed or over-emotional because you didn't take care of yourself. You'll be present with an open heart full of love and compassion. That is the greatest gift. So as you continue to do this, you can do this on your own. What else do I need? Imagine it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What color represents it? Whatever works for you. Place it in your heart. And then as we end, we're just placing hand over heart, connecting here in your heart. And now imagine every cell of your body filling with what you've needed. Every cell of your body filled with calm, peaceful, centered energy and joy and love and compassion and acceptance. And now expand that. out from your body all the way around you. And imagine this bubble of light around you, like a boundary, an energetic boundary, so that you're holding all that you need inside of you and around you. And we're just going to hold it right there. We're going to lock that in so that anything on the external world cannot penetrate this beautiful, like a snow globe, like a bubble of beautiful, magical energy holding you. And remember when we were kids, we used to say, I am rubber, you are glue. Whatever you say to me bounces off me and comes back to you. That's what an energetic boundary can do for you. Okay, well, thank you so much. Oh, wow, it's 45 minutes. Thank you so much for being with me today. Pace with grace, my soul friends, as we enter into the holiday season, or we're already in it, as we move through and navigate through choice by choice, moment by moment, connecting to self, soul, and your own wisdom. Do it your own way. Do it your authentic soul way. And I want to hear what you took away from this this conversation, this soul chat, this time of soul connection. Subscribe if you haven't. Share if you feel called. You can just take a clip of my videos. So watch it, and then there's a little button that says clip. You can take one, like 30 seconds or 40 seconds, clip that, share that to your Facebook, or wherever you want to share it with friends via email, and give others the gift of this support. Okay, take good care. Thanks for being with me, and see you next time. Peace and blessings. Bye.